Hitbox and beam.
Hey, YouTube just told me we were live.
Hey. I still don't see it, which is funny. Hitbox never loads, right? Come on. Our Musum, let's start our monthly Avengers Academy chat. How are you doing?
I've been slowly dreading this conversation just because of the deplorable human being I've become in this. Like, I'm not a whale yet, so I at least have that. But like,
you getting close?
I have.
Are you dolphining though? Are you a dolphin?
Yeah.
I think I'm a dolphin at this point. I've spent $200 in a month's time.
Was it the Halloween event?
Halloween? I don't know what you said, Mina.
Oh, I was like, you're reaching dolphin.
Yeah. Yeah. What it was is I spent I think it was mid-October I spent it and just went whole hog on Halloween. I got nearly everything in the Halloween event.
Wow. Wow.
How hard is that? I need a frame of reference.
I didn't spend any money except I bought Ghost Rider, which was like $10 or $15. And I got less than half of this stuff. They've been making a pretty big effort into, I guess, separating the lines between free-to-play and pay-to-play. And pay-to-play, they've been squeezing those guys pretty heavily. I don't want to... I'll let Musum say if he wants to how much money that is, but it's a considerable amount of money.
Yeah, well, I did just... I literally told you how much money I just spent, but it's like the
people.
Yeah, like the way, like, so at the beginning of the event they'll introduce about 3 or 4 generators that you can buy for shards, which are what you spend real money on, right? And then on the Halloween event, every week they introduced a new generator for you to buy.
Yeah.
And I went into the Halloween event with an experiment in mind. I thought, I'm going to figure out what the hell price point they are aiming at to get everything.
Okay.
And what I figured out is I'm pretty sure they want $100 every 2 weeks is what they want.
It's so much.
Yeah. So, like, in addition to this, like, what they do is a week or 2 into it, they'll start introducing crates, and crates cost like 75 to 95 shards, and there'll be 30 things in the crate, and the thing you want, you won't get until the last few items.
Yep. Like every time, it's like a gotcha pull if you had no chance of getting something good until the very end.
Oh my gosh.
So, like, you don't have to do the crate. Most of the time the stuff that's in the crate doesn't matter, but with the Halloween thing in mind, I'm like, I'm going to see this through, for better or worse. I'm going to see this through, and did it. And that was, if I hadn't spent, like, I mean, those crates, I probably spent $4,000 or $5,000 getting everything in those stupid crates, or at least getting all the costumes. I quit when I got the costumes, but at that point I think there were like 2 pulls left that I didn't get, so it's negligible.
The thing that's frustrating to me too, and the reason why I sort of wish that I was spending money, is that before the pay to play stuff wasn't, like, the stuff in the crates wasn't a huge benefit, but more and more they're, like the event we're in right now, like Elemental Doctor Strange, Elemental Mordo, they're both doing like double damage, and they have double health, and they crit more, and there's all this stuff where you're like, well, man, I'd really like that seems really strong. That would make everything way easier.
Well, and they, on the current crate, in the current Doctor Strange event they're doing, which I spent, Doctor Strange started, and that's, well, no, I guess it was the last of the Halloween event when I put money in again, because I really wanted Mephisto's crate, or Mephisto's box, and just had to shard just a ton of actions to freaking get there. Now, the current event is fairly ridiculous with the amount of things we have to keep track of. Like, I like it, but I do like. I'm not gonna get this crate, right? My experiment's over. I kind of got an idea of things. I don't think I necessarily would have needed the crates from last time, but having the extra costumes did help out with doing some of these extra actions. And I did make up some of that money by maxing out. I probably got like 10 characters up to level 7 hangouts, which gets you like 20 shards, I think, every time.
Something like that, yeah.
But the current crate and the current event has like 32 items, costs 95 shards a pull. Again, like 7,000 shards is $100 to give you an idea.
I think it's like 100 shards is $2.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Every time you click that button, it's $2.
Yeah.
So it's $64 for the whole crate?
So the benefit right now is this crate has 4 or 5 generators in it too.
Oh, right.
So they're the smaller versions of them, but they don't have the current like wand generator for this week's section of the event.
Right.
But they have last week's, which you can use to make power things. But yeah, so in the current event, because I just had a ton of shards left over, and I'm quickly running out of them because I'm still playing how I used to play, which means I am fast approaching the point where I may just have to quit the game to get myself to stop spending money.
Oh no.
I'm gonna be the only one left playing.
I like the game. I need to figure out how to make myself play it without spending $100 every 2 weeks. Like $100 a month. I can do that. That's not. It doesn't make me feel good about myself, but it's not. Well, okay, it's not good, but it's still. It's not putting me in poverty and whatnot.
Right.
But
well, I think this event's real problem is that you're getting stuff from the mission board to craft things, to fight enemies, to craft things, to fight enemies, to craft stuff with those. And like 3 layers deep is the thing you really want to continue to progress the episode. And I feel like we're trying to juggle 5 or 6 things at the moment. It feels a lot like Civil War, where it's like, okay, if I do the math here, if I upgrade this guy, I can do that, but I've got this other unit, and you have like 5 or 6 types of units that all are getting upgraded at different values. It's just...
yeah.
It's too much.
It is. I agree. It's way too much. It's like I've mostly kept up so far. Because I've been sharding a bunch. Like I'm at like position 400 or 500 on the leaderboards.
Oh, nice.
Which is kind of crazy to me.
Oh,
like I only have like 50 points. Like if you look at the number 1 leaderboard guy, he has like 200 points, which means he has fought bosses 200 times. Which
super
means
whale.
He has spit. Yeah.
And that like the person who's in first place, that has to be thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I wish they didn't do the leader. Like I feel.
Well, but okay, so let's say. First of all, I realize we're talking so deeply. We haven't started the episode proper, but on Brave Exvius, we just got the arena added, which is like a PvP thing that you play against somebody else's team, except in PvE mode, kind of. So like their team just has like an AI that'll do stuff, and there's leaderboards on there, and there are people who are in so many points deep, and I realized that each one of these had to pay to like refresh the amount of times they can do the PvP, and the people who are at the very top have refreshed a lot. We're talking, they've been throwing hundreds of dollars at this just so that way they can get their name on at number 1.
Yeah.
And while to me, I'm like, that's kind of ridiculous. I'm like, hey, they're paying for the game though. The developers are just
exactly.
like, so I don't get my name on the top 10. I don't care, but those guys do, and they are paying tons of money to make sure that their name is number 1 or number 5 or whatever, because it's ridiculous.
In Exvius, is there a reward for being like the top X% of people on the leaderboard?
So, okay, so if you're in the top 3,000, and you can be tied for a placement on the top 3,000, so like if you and I had the same score, we both could be rank 285 or whatever. We could both share the same numbering rank, even though, and it doesn't work like work like ranking systems where you can have like, two number ones and then the next person's number 3. It doesn't work that way. So it's if you make it in the top 3,000, you get the same reward regardless of whether you're number 1 or number 3,000. You get the same reward, and then from there it's the top. Is it the top 9,000 or something like that? And then it goes. But the reward that you lose between the number 1 and 3,000 to the 9,000, it's only like a tiny bit of a loss. And then like you still get rewards even if you're in the 90,000s. And I have another account that I just poked around in, and I barely done anything at all in the PvP, and I'm still ranked like 50,000 or something without even trying. So, I mean, it's kind of like you're going to get a reward out of this so long as you make some sort of an attempt at it. Like if you're just going to blow it off and not do it at all, and maybe step in there maybe 1 or 2 times a week or month or whatever, you're not going to, you're not going to get anything. But I think as long as you're trying, you're probably going to walk away with prizes. So it's, I mean, yeah, the top 3,000 guys are going to get something. I'm actually in the top 3,000, and I don't, like, there's no money investment here. I'm not forcing my wins out of this. Right. So I think for people who are extremely active, you should make it in the top 3,000s easy.
The real problem with Avengers Academy for their leaderboards is that the best reward is for the top 50 people, so the pool is so small, and everybody else gets basically nothing.
Oh no, that's terrible!
Well, what's even worse about it is the reward for the top 50 people is a costume for Loki that lets him... So how Avengers Academy works is, at the beginning of every event, all your character's stats get wiped back down to 0, and you get a costume or you get a new character, and they can fight whatever boss is there during the week. The costume for Loki lets him fight with his stats you carry over from event to event at the very beginning. So like these top 50 people that would be wailing their way through an event anyway are now going to be able to go through events even faster. With a really great reward, which I'm not mad about, but it's just kind of... it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well, and they did it in such a fashion, too, where the leaderboards, like, everyone... Like, right now I have, like, I don't know, 50 or 60 points or something like that.
I just looked, I have, like, 15.
I do not share a rank with those people. It's whoever gets to that score first gets put on the leaderboard, and then everyone gets added on sequentially. So if you scroll through the leaderboard, there's like 1,000 people with 60 points in it or something like that.
Yeah.
But okay, maybe not 1,000, but because somehow I got the 500 without going whale crazy. But
yeah, I just looked at my rank. I'm 5,000 with like 15 points.
But yeah. I am gonna get a thing that will generate 1 shard a day, which I don't think is bad. But
no, that's pretty good.
It is bad in that it makes me want to stay in my tier 2 thing, like in terms of keeping up, which means it makes me want to put enough money into it to get through that. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird because apparently they did this stuff with the Family Guy game that they've made with leaderboards, and apparently it was just a disaster. And rampant hacking, which apparently happened pretty early on here, just really weird. I don't entirely understand. But
I guess there's a version of their games in other countries that people have made that remove the pay-to-play stuff and just allow you to immediately level up.
I have seen that, yeah.
So
probably in like China or something.
Yeah,
I don't know, but evidently that's their main wipe those guys off the leaderboard type thing.
Right.
But
here, I'll post. I posted a link in the chat right there that you can take a look at. For Exvius, anyways, and you can see it's even easier than I thought it was. So the top 3,000 people get the best rewards, as you can see. The one in the middle is the weekly, and the one on the right is the monthly, and it's forbidden rules. And if you remember Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, that's basically what it is. You're not allowed to use those abilities or whatever,
okay.
And it changes around. It also has like a series bonus, so if you have characters from the correct game, you get like a bonus. Like they get better stats or whatever, and it rotates around, so it's kind of it's fair, and everybody has the same rules going up against them, and so the difference between being in the 3,000 and the 30,000, which I feel is pretty attainable as long as you're trying. Like, I'm trying way too hard, but I'm in the 3,000. But I think if you were like just like a general, like, oh look, I've got I can go into the PvP right now because I've got the ability to. I'm just gonna go in there. I think you could easily get 30,000. Like, that's not a pay to win number. Now to get into the top 1 to 10 people, that's definitely you've got to be super whale.
Second
You're
mortgage.
the lunar whale. You're the lunar whale in Final Fantasy IV. That's the only way you're getting in there. And then if you look on the monthly rewards, the Trust Moogles are super good. So I can see why people would want to be in the top 3,000 for the monthly. But even if you like, you can kind of see, like, it goes even further. Like, there's a 150,000 placement or whatever. If you're in the 150,000s, you still get a reward, that's pretty good. It's okay. It's not like anywhere as much as the stuff above, but you still get something. It's still pretty good. Yeah. I feel like you still get a Trust Moogle no matter what you do, and a Trust Moogle just gives you like really cool stuff. I know we haven't started the episode either, and we're talking.
That's all right. Some of this stuff is a little inside baseball, so I don't mind if we talk about it early.
This was just added to Brave Exvius like 3 days ago, and I love it. I am addicted to PvP mode.
Oh man, I should get back into playing that.
It's gotten better.
Yeah, I played it for a little bit. I think between last episode and here, and it definitely is way better. It's just. It's not clicking with me for some reason.
I know. I think for a lot of people, what will happen is it will actually click in about 6 months. I played the Japanese version. I got to
right. I remember you saying.
I messed around in it, and I was like, "This stuff right here is really good." So 6 months from now, when we're up there,
once it hits global.
this is gonna be really good. But until then, that stuff's like, there's a lot of stuff that's a lot better in that Japanese version, and it's just like. So I'm basically like, I gotta hang in there, and I'm not gonna happen. Like, Record Keeper happened to me, where I was just kind of like, I was there at the start, and I was just kind of like, I don't know, it's boring. Yeah. Then I came back like 7-8 months later. I'm like, what? This is a completely different game.
Yeah.
Why wasn't the game like this? So, kind of knowing what's coming, I don't know. It just makes it a lot easier for me to just power through. Some of the sloggy parts of this.
Yeah. Oh man, mobile games.
Yeah. I don't play at Avengers Academy though, so
please don't. I think it's a really great game and I really love it. Please don't play it. Because like all that stuff that we complained about, this event seems pretty good so far, and every event, it seems like they kind of have two teams working on events now. Every event they keep improving the game and they keep streamlining it and making it better. The big thing they did is they made it really clear, this stuff over here is pay to play. If you're not going to pay, just don't worry about any of it. And this stuff over here is free to play. If you're not going to pay any money, this is the stuff you need to do in this event. And this is where you live.
But isn't it kind of tempting to want to do the pay to win stuff?
No, because I it all looks really good, but I think when you look at it and you start doing the math, you say like in the last event, you had to spend all this time sort of having these characters hang out with each other, and at some point you look at it and you say like, well, since I didn't buy X, Y, and Z that would make this stuff go faster, now I would have to spend more time than there is left in the event, or I'd have to buy it now and like spend money to speed stuff up. So at some point, unless you commit to being pay to play at the very beginning, it kind of escapes you almost immediately.
I see.
Which is fair, but
And last event, like, I was checking in every 2 hours
Yep.
for 12-hour periods of a day, and
No.
by the last week, there was so much crap to do. I was literally on my phone for 15 minutes every time I had to check in.
Yeah, me too. Where I'm like, okay, now I got to do this and got to do that, and like you're shuffling people around, and it's just like you're taking a turn in Civilization. Just like, all right, now I'm gonna let it run, and I'll be back in an hour.
Yeah. Well, and just when, especially like having all the costumes, that was literally like 12 characters that could all hang out with each other, so
Yep.
you could have like 60 some odd relationships that you could be leveling up.
I have no idea what you're talking about. This like you're. I'm thinking like Persona right now when you're saying that.
It actually is. There was a thing they introduced where basically two characters. It was a trick or treat themed sort of thing. And basically, two of your heroes could hang out with each other for a period of time, and every time they hang out, their relationship builds, and they have a meter where it's like level 1, 2, 3, 4, and it takes more hangouts to fill the meter up in between hangout levels. And there were a lot of rewards where it would be like get 5 characters to relationship level 7, or like 5 combinations. So if you have like 3 characters, you can do that. But some of the ones, what was the one for Jack-o'-lantern? It was like 12 characters at 7.
Oh, gee.
18 characters.
Okay, so like, well, there were 5 challenges you had to go through to get to them, but like one of them was you had to get 10 characters to level 7, and then it was like 5 characters to level, or no, maybe it was 10 to level 4, and then it was 5 characters to level 7.
Right.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
And at the time that you had to get 10 characters to level 7, which, because if you didn't get it at that time, you were behind.
Yep.
Like, I mean, it was just very, like, it took me 2 weeks, I think, to get that challenge.
Yeah. So it's and that's the hard part. I don't want to keep diving down this too much, but the hard part after that is you're still doing all the normal event stuff, and you're still doing all of the mission board stuff, and it just.
And the mission board keeps all those characters that are hanging out with each other on the board, so it's just constantly canceling crap out. It was
a little intense.
Yeah. Not gonna play that way again, but
yeah.
my
You got to
excuse
do it
is
once.
I wanted to. I just wanted to see what the price point was, and I'm fairly confident that you can get basically all the characters and their costumes in any given event for about $100 every 2 weeks.
Right.
Which is way too much.
That seems crazy.
Yeah.
Guys in Twitch chat, we're not going to say anything. Thanks for watching. It's not high in Italian. I have Google. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good part about not sleeping a lot is I'm really up on Marvel Avengers Academy. I got plenty of time in the wee hours to do all my stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's the thing I'm liking about the current event is even though you're juggling around a dozen items, like and you may not have this same experience, Boston. I don't know, because the first event I leveled up my guys a lot and got that elemental strange thing.
Yeah, I
but
did.
the first 7 streaks, like especially on this one, like the most he will hit your guys for, I think, is I don't know 400 or 500, and his HP gets to like 1400. So
I
haven't actually had to level anyone up, and I've just been sitting Nico in there because I have her at like level 6 or 7 on both of her stats.
Yeah, I have her at about half, but she's doing really great.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Some of you guys are gonna. You guys are gonna get timed out a little bit here. Everyone needs to chill out and chat. There we go. Much better. You guys can chat in a couple of minutes. Take a breather. Let's all be cool. Okay.
I don't think I could handle another mobile game. I'm good at what I've got.
Yeah, I've got. How many do I have going on now? I've got 2 going on, I think.
I have 3, and I haven't played one of them in a couple days.
What ones
Like
are you
Dragon. I played Dragon Veil, which is
yeah.
like a nicer version of Avengers Academy, but with dragon breeding.
Yeah.
And He-Man's Tapper of the Universe,
Oh, right.
which Tapper's a Grayskull, whatever. Which I'm not going to talk about this time because there's literally nothing new to add. But I don't know. My friend Joey keeps trying to get me to play this game called Fallen London, but I haven't checked it out yet. Literally nothing new. It's like a HP Lovecraft MMO phone game.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah. The current games I have make me just never want to play another phone game again because I'll just get addicted to really simple mechanics.
Yeah.
And just sit around drooling on myself while I click to wait.
All right. You guys ready to get started?
Yeah, I'm good.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's start in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Picking Up the Pixels. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is Musim.
Hey.
And Mina.
Hello.
If I sound a little bit tired, my wife and I just had our first child about a week ago, so I've already messed the intro of this episode up, and it's just going to be downhill from here. So let's get started. Musim, what have you been playing?
So I played a bunch of Warframe this month. They released the new content, and I had 6 months of old content to figure out. Like, one of the things they did over the last half year at some point was they redid the entire galaxy map and kind of how you traverse it. And the thing I didn't immediately realize was they now have these, like, whereas previously you would go to a galaxy map, your guy would sit there and he'd have all these planets around his head. You'd click on a planet and then select a mission. Well, now it's the only thing I know to compare it to is Destiny. Like, now you have the literal solar system map in front of you, and you click on a planet, and then it shows the individual locations in each planet.
Oh, okay.
That you go to. I'm assuming this works this way for new players, but they now have these junction points on planets that have certain prerequisites, and then when you beat the junction, it opens up another planet in the solar system.
Oh, so there's like a pretty clear progression system now?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's like the cinematic graphics they gave it to it, I think, are pretty cool too. I mean, it's the one I had to do to unlock the new content, for instance, like I had to fulfill 3 challenges. One of them I had to do these 3 Orc and Void tests, which are basically these random puzzle encounters that are on this certain tile set, right? So that was kind of interesting to traverse. And then I had to kill X amount of an enemy and then beat this one boss, which I'd kind of already done all those things before, but not since they implemented the junction system. So I did all that stuff, and then I went to the junction to turn it in, and it made me fight like another Warframe, like, to get through it, which was a pretty easy fight, but it was still pretty cool. And then you get this big, cool cinematic of these solar rails, like, aligning and opening, and it's a neat feature. It makes me want to not start the game over, but maybe check it out on a console or something, and just kind of get that new player experience. But I don't know if I have the patience to do that.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things they added that I thought was cool. They kind of rebalanced their mod currency system. Like, how you level up in Warframe is by leveling up your mods, which are, they look like playing cards, and you equip those on things, and they just changed how you got the currency for it and how you could kind of get rid of mods to get more, right? It's called Indo now too, which I think is a good name. I'm going blank. Well, so the new content was supposed to come out yesterday, and it didn't come out till last night. But they re-enabled me being able to play the last story mission called The Second Dream. the Warframe story missions usually are just, okay, here's a couple of map types that you're already used to doing. We put some more VO over it, and you get to the end and you might get something extra kind of thing.
Sort of the Destiny approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's exactly the Destiny approach. The thing they like on the second Dream, they did a lot more kind of scripted sequences in it, where certain things would happen. And upon replaying it, the gameplay aspects in the second Dream are really, really bad. But it was like mind blowing at the time because it's, I mean, the second Dream's a year old at this point, so I'm gonna spoil certain aspects of it. You basically, like, through Warframe, like, keep in mind, I've been playing the game for 3 years, right? Up until the second Dream released last year. And you play through the second Dream through this quest sequence, and then you lose control of your Warframe, and then all of a sudden there's this person in this black suit thing, and then your Warframe's carrying him around, and at the end of it, you literally are confronted with a character creation screen to make your person who is controlling your Warframe.
Oh, weird.
Which is the crazy, like, I've heard a certain other AAA game had something where you were faced with a character creation screen at the end or at the beginning that didn't matter or something like that. But imagine playing a game for 3 years and then you get that, right?
I know which game you're talking about, and now that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. But anyway, so we've been, like, they thought they would have this new DLC, The War Within, out within a couple of months of that. And they took just about a year to get it out. And I played through it today. It only takes a couple hours. It's not very long. The gameplay aspects of it, I think, are a lot better. I'm not going to spoil any of the story stuff or whatnot in it. They kind of do a lot more with your player character that's mentally controlling the character, and they control it through an ability called transference, which every time they say it just makes me think of transfar.
I was just about to say, it's like through transfarring.
Yeah. That is, they made that dialect like well after that, Metal Gear 5 transfar thing that happened, or whatever that game that happened with in the Metal Gear series. So I don't know why they made that decision, but
yeah.
Anyway, the new mission content I liked a lot. I think they did their scripted sequences a lot better. They kind of introduced a new tile set, and they added a lot more mechanics than I was expecting to the game. Like when you finish the second Dream, you get your character, you get like a fifth ability, and like a new kind of level up tree you can go through. And this one, I was like, as I was playing through, I was like, I don't know how they can do anything as mind blowing as the second Dream, and I don't think they did anything as mind blowing as it in terms of story reveals, but I do think they made a something that's more cohesive and funner to play. I will say, like, you reach a certain point in The War Within where you click on it and it says, once you start this, you're going to be stuck in it for a bit, kind of thing.
Right.
At that point, make sure you have equipped the Warframe you want to use for the entire thing, and know that the first mission is kind of a sneak mission. So, like, luckily, that's what I went in with equipped, was a stealth Warframe, but I can't imagine trying to get through that facility just blowing everything up. They introduced a lot of interesting mechanics. I'm trying to think of what I can talk about.
Well, to me, it's kind of crazy that they're still so committed to Warframe in a way that there's so many new things about it seemingly every month that we talk about it, and it's not just like, I'm playing more Warframe, more of the same old. It's sort of like, well, they came out with the giant patch and everything is different and it's way better, and it's crazy.
Yeah. They've done a lot. It's like, I'm probably only going to play it for a couple more weeks and then kind of shelve it for a while till they do another story thing, because I feel like that was the right approach. Like, me taking a half year off, I think was really good for me in terms of playing other games. Like, right now I really needed just comfort food games anyway, so like it's been kind of perfect in that aspect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I bred a space cat. They call them kavats.
That's awesome. Everything about that is great.
Yeah, it hisses and makes sounds all the time, and it gets really annoyed with me when I don't do anything in the mission.
Sounds like a cat. Yeah.
It's I named her Pancakes. And
that's a great name for a cat, space or otherwise.
Yeah, she has her default colors are crazy. Like they're like this bright red and blue thing. But that was kind of a pain in the butt to get. So I had some of the in-game real money currency from like half a year ago. So I just spent some of that to speed up some of that process, because some of that process is kind of BS.
Sounds a lot like chocobo breeding, where it's like, I have to catch the what? Wait, breed how many together? This is the worst.
Yeah, it's in Warframe terms, it's replay this mission a dozen times so you can get the material needed
No.
Yeah, I'm good.
to get the thing.
How much does it cost? Oh yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, pretty much. Let me see. What else did they? I wish I had made myself a little list. The only unfortunate thing I think about the Second Dream and the War Within is you probably aren't going to be able to play them until you've put at least like 12 to 20 hours into Warframe.
Okay.
Like the intro missions in Warframe are more cinematic now. I think they're a lot better than they were. But at a certain point, you're going to hit it, and you're going to be like, well, I'm not really sure what to do now.
Right.
And then it becomes real life the game. You pick what goal you want and what you want to get, and then you just slowly save up and work towards it.
It's like playing The Sims. I want to be an astronaut.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, no, that game's great. If anyone ever wants to play with me on PC, I'm pretty sure my name's John Musum on there, so just hit me up. I'm in a clan that only has 2 active players right now, so we would appreciate the additional contribution to the clan projects. Like there's a bunch of weapons you can only get through clan research, right? So, then you know what? For that matter, if you have a very active clan and wouldn't mind someone joining who is only going to play for a month and then maybe take a few months off, like, give me an invite. Anyway, so other than that, during the first half of the month at least, I played a lot more Persona 4. There's a lot more time to do stuff in that game when you already have all your stats maxed out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's you're living free.
It's pretty great. And I think, and I already missed my Adachi relationship.
Oh no.
Already missed it. So just
That's a
gonna
hard
finish
one,
this
though.
playthrough. Yeah. I don't know if I could have. Like, I only got him to rank 2, and then I realized I passed the point of no return when I was hanging out with everyone else. I'm like, well, I guess I won't get everyone's social link trophies this time.
Yeah.
You probably missed him when he was in the shopping mart or something.
Yeah.
I just never hung out with him when he was available. I was doing something else, I guess.
I had to follow a guide for that one because there's too many. Like Mina's saying, like this one day you can't do anything else except for hang out with Adachi, and he's at the entrance of the Junes, the place you never go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of where I got. Like, I just got Rise and Teddy, and right, I just beat up the weird retro video game level.
Oh,
I forgot
yeah.
I forgot that guy's name at the end, but
Begins with an M. Mitsuo?
yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds
Boy, what a weird / annoying dungeon.
Yeah. As I was going through it, I kept reminding myself, I'm like, there's something I have to get that won't let me, like, I have to get this thing so I can fight the boss. I remember that. And luckily it's just, you got to beat that mid 7 level or 7th level mid boss to
And then turn around.
get the Orb of Darkness, and it's on the way. Like, you don't have to well, I mean, I guess it's not on the way in terms of the level layout, but
Yeah.
you still got to go to the 7th floor. But
Yeah.
also really enjoying the using really high level personas on people.
Yeah.
which I'm sure will go away fairly soon. But yeah, that game's still really great. It's been a week or two since I played it. I just haven't had too much time for games lately, so. But I was kind of thinking I'd get the rest of the way through it and, kind of prep myself up for Persona 5. It's been very difficult not watching all these P5 videos.
I haven't been watching them either.
I have not been spoiled on anything, but everything is trying to spoil me. Not like people, but like every source out there wants to spoil me. It's like, hey, did you hear about this game called
Remember this
Persona
cool voice
5?
actor for this character?
Look at this voice actor. I'm like, no, stop.
We only have, what, 2 months? 3 months?
February 14th, Valentine's Day.
Man, it's so close.
Hang in there.
In the world, like, according to Groundhog's Day, right?
Unplug my freaking internet at this point to just avoid the spoilers.
Yeah.
Because I'm so no.
So, like, I subscribed to Crunchyroll recently because we paid off a bill recently, and I was watching stuff and I was half asleep and had this queue going, and I'm like, oh, hey, Persona 5, I should watch. Wait, no, stop.
No, you fool.
I could give you a list of anime you need to watch on Crunchyroll. There is some good stuff on there.
Well, I'm still catching up. I just finished Berserk, and I had started Devil Survivor 2, and I need to probably get back to that. Did you even know that was a thing?
Did not know that was a thing. Look, I just got Crunchyroll, so I've been delving in there myself.
Well, if you want to see some demon tamers summon some.
Writing it down.
It's not like a fantastic anime by any means, but it's only like 9 or a dozen episodes or something. But
I can do it.
Anyway, so that is, I think, all I've been doing.
Oh, okay.
So,
Mina,
what have you been up to?
Up on your list?
Well, so I don't remember exactly when the game's released, but I played Dragon Quest Builders. I think that was the first one I played at the beginning of this month. So immediately started playing. It's pretty much the demo that was available. Pretty much is exactly what you follow through. So because I already played the demo, I already knew what things I needed to get like up to where I kind of dropped off. So I immediately went into gather the stuff before the game started proper, because I was like, oh, I know that this quest needs, because I have a crazy memory, I'm like, I need 5 plum berries, I need a couple of mushrooms, and I was like, I know I'm going to need some dirt, I know I'm going to need some of these grass leaves, because I'm going to be building stuff, so I hoarded up a ton of stuff, and then I brought it back to the settlement, and I built a magnificent town. I need to share this town. Probably do a video, because it's not something that could just be like screenshot, because I built an underground city on underneath the castle.
Oh, jeez.
That I built. I knew it was crazy. Like, I didn't know how crazy I was when I built it, but I knew when one of my friends was like, "So what are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm just playing Dragon Quest Builders," and they were like, "Oh, let me see your town." I showed it to them, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm not going to show you my town, because now
it's like one dirt hut."
I was like, "What's wrong with it?" And he was like, "It's probably fine." He's like, "Nope. You've got like an apartment complex." I was like, "Oh, okay." But I was loving it. And I didn't say I'm not going to love it in the future, but I was really loving it. And then the way the game works is like you start, chapter 1 has you build up this town from the ground up, and you do the story stuff that happens with that, and then it's like, oh, but now you need to go to another town, and they say, oh, you're farewell, you're going bye-bye, and they give you like a sending off, and then they tell you, by the way, nothing you have on you is going to really carry over to the next city that you're going to, so you're about to lose everything. And I was like, okay. So it's still, like, you still have a save file of Town 1, so you can drop back in there, but, like, then when you start Chapter 2, it's, like, a brand new save that doesn't overlap with your Chapter 1 home. If there was ever a difficulty curve that goes straight up. And I mean, it's not, there's no curve, it's just a wall, a difficulty curve that just goes through the roof. Okay, so I arrive in this town, and I immediately was like, I feel like I shouldn't spoil it because it will ruin like the feelings, but I immediately looked around like, you don't even need to tell me something's wrong with this town. I look around and I'm like, no, you just introduced a brand new mechanic on me that I am just like, holy smokes. So then I start, building up my new town. As soon as I started building up my new town, some monsters came, and these monsters did something that I was like, you gotta be kidding me. You can't give the monsters the ability to do that.
That's not fair.
That's terrible. So, like, as soon as that happened, I'm like, okay, now this has completely changed how I'm structuring this town, like, how I'm building this town. And this was town 2. I'm like, welcome to chapter 2. I'm like, what?
Right.
And then, and then the quest that happened in chapter 2. I knew something was wrong when it was like, oh, you need to do... Let's just say, chapter 2 was like, you entered sandbox of chapter 1, happy little sandbox. You go to chapter 2, and it's just like the gloves are off. I hope you know what you're doing.
It's like Final Fantasy VI's World of Ruin, where it's like, let's get to it. I'm gonna punch you in the face.
It's just not fair. It just was immediately not fair, and you have no. So then I beat chapter 2 after that, which was difficult because. Yeah, I won't spoil chapter 2 because it ruins a little bit of the immersion of you figuring stuff out.
Sure.
So I entered chapter 3. And in my mind, I'm thinking, like, well, if chapter 2 kicked my butt that hard, how bad is chapter 3 going to be? Chapter 3 was even worse! Chapter 3
I thought you were going to say, it's like, it's easy.
No. So I will tell you, because I feel like this is something that needs to be said when you arrive in Chapter 3. Again, you lose all of your resources and stuff. Chapter 3, you start in a complete desert.
Oh,
and
boy.
Keep in mind, you need to eat, you need to heal, you need resources to build things, and so that way you can build like a shelter and stuff. You start in a desert, and food is a problem really quickly, and there's just not enough resources of any kind, and you immediately need to hit the ground running when you arrive in chapter 3. I say you load into chapter 3, put your little banner down and save right
away.
Save right away, and then just like try and figure out what your game plan is from there, because it gets really bad really quickly. I think in chapter 2 the resources weren't anywhere near as bad for me. I was able to like kind of build up the town and build up the town's defenses and stuff, because monsters come in and just wreck the place as quickly as you build. So chapter 2 I had time to build the town. Chapter 3, it's about, no, you got to get them resources quickly and start figuring out a game plan quickly, because there's monsters that are just not going to wait, and you need to eat and heal because the monsters are hitting hard, and you don't have weapons, you don't have armor, you don't have anything, and they're just destroying all your stuff, and it's just immediately like, this is terrible. And then I think to myself, you realize this is only chapter 3 though, right? This is only chapter 3. It
gets worse.
It's gotta get worse. They didn't just, like, I thought the difficulty curve was just gonna go straight up and then kind of plateau from chapter 2, and I was like, no, the difficulty curve just keeps going up and up and up and up.
Jeez.
And it's like, oh, and there's some replay value in this, because when you beat the chapter, it lets you know, oh, you could, like, there's a speed run thing where it's like, beat it in this many days for, a trophy, do this, kill these 3 dragons or whatever for a trophy. And I was just like, I didn't even know half of this stuff was in the game in chapter 1. I only came across 1 dragon. You're telling me there was like 3 or 4? And then there's like, make sure you collect these specialty items or do these quests. I was like, I didn't even know that was in that chapter. I thought I did everything. I thought I figured it out. So, that was Dragon Quest Builders. I haven't beaten chapter 3 yet. It's in work. It's a huge project. It's a lot to do. So from there, I got World of Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, I played the demo of that.
Yeah, so I started playing it. Right off the bat, you have to be able to take in some of the sugar sweet
Yeah.
voice acting. Like, you really have to be able to tolerate, because it's really, some of the characters are super obnoxious and super dumb, and
Yep.
it's like Final Fantasy 13-2 levels of like, you gotta bear with that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I like Pokemon Final Fantasy enough to bear with both games.
Well, and it is really, really cute. Like, if
It
you want to see the cutest Final Fantasy, that's World of Final Fantasy, and it's really cute.
It's I immediately hit the nostalgia train when I started seeing a lot of these characters and interacting with them. Some of the characters I'm really surprised, because they're not necessarily what I would consider like the main character of their games, but yet they seem to have like a lot of a lot of screen time for not being like the main character of their games.
Yeah, for like some of the B tier characters.
Yeah, some of the lesser ones.
It's like, here's Sid from Final Fantasy VI. It's like, that really?
He wasn't that important.
Yeah.
There's, let's see, what else? I'm trying to think of what exactly I could talk about that game without spoiling anything, because it's really hard.
From the demo, it's kind of an interesting game, because you're right, it is Pokemon Final Fantasy, where you're fighting and capturing Final Fantasy monsters sort of throughout the years. In the demo, they have Cactars and Chocobos and Tonberry, Behemoths, Aramon, sort of the classic Final Fantasy monsters that you think of. You're taking down their health, and you're hitting them with something, and it captures them, and then it has a really weird stacking system where you and two monsters stand on top of each other or ride on each other, and it makes your party stronger and more health. And the thing that I thought was really interesting was it seemed like from the coverage that I saw, it was a fairly straightforward experience, but what I was pretty impressed by from the demo was each type of monster that you capture has its own skill grid. It's almost like a sphere grid. Where you start at one node and you get to use ability points to go, it'll be stuff like get you and your party member more health, or now your party can use thunder, or now your party can use cure, or stuff like that. And it looks like there's some additional, when you level up a monster enough at some point, it looks like you can evolve them, I guess is the best term, and then keep leveling them up from there.
So what's really cool is when you evolve them, you can also devolve them at any time that you want, and you can actually keep all the abilities from forward and back, provided that they aren't specialty abilities locked to only that monster.
Oh, okay.
So, like, for example, Fenrir has Howling Moon or whatever, or something like that. I don't remember quite what it is, but it is specific only to Fenrir. So if you devolve him or evolve him into a form beyond or behind, he won't have Howling Moon, but like he might have another ability on there that's not linked, and that might carry back to the younger version. So what's really good is you seek out getting all those specialty ones, and then you build your stack in such a way that you can have like a super overpowered little guy or whatever who actually has like 3 or 4 forms or whatever, but he has all of his abilities even as a small little unit. That's something that I found interesting.
It seems really cool. It seems like on the surface it seems a little goofy and lighthearted, but there seem to be some pretty cool systems in there.
Yeah, and I would say if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, what they did is take a lot of creative twists on stories that happened, or just do little weird things with the stories, I guess. You'll encounter characters in the regions that they're supposed to be at, but it kind of twists around what's going on there. That's like, what is an early place that I could talk about? You meet a Final Fantasy X character in the Macalania Woods. Macalania Woods or something. I think I said it right. And it's a very they did something that happens in the game, kind of, but it's not in that woods area. But it's like, I see what you did. I remember this from Final Fantasy X.
Right.
I remember this moment, not here, but kind of. So it's kind of, there's moments like that. Or when you encounter another character who is doing something that he did in another game, but not quite in the same spot, but kind of against the same monster, and you're like, I remember this scene that happened in that game. So it's kind of like, I don't know, if you're a fan of all of the Final Fantasies, you'll find some things amusing.
Yeah.
Combats. I like the combat. It's kind of fun. And, I mean, as silly as stacking is.
Right.
Like, you see the monsters all stacked on top of each other. I'm on, like, chapter... I feel like I'm on, like, chapter 18 or something in that game.
Wow.
I don't remember. Yeah, I think I'm nearing the end. I'm not sure, but I think. So it's been wild. So, a demo that I played was the Pokemon Sun and Moon demo.
Ooh.
I finally jumped into that. So right away, making sure to do the demo, you can get a couple of things. You get like I don't watch the show, so forgive my ignorance. You get an Ash Greninja, or
Okay.
I don't know. Apparently, it's the same Greninja that Ash Ketchum uses or something.
Ah, okay.
But so it's called an Ash Greninja. I don't.
He's very special.
I guess so. I haven't figured out quite what it all is, but it's something you get for completing the demo. It's a kind of a unique demo in that, like, it wants you to come back to play it multiple times. Like, they run events based on when you started the demo. So it's
Weird.
it's been one day after you played the demo, you should log in and get this thing. And then it's like, it's been 5 days since you played this demo. You can watch this event or cutscene with these characters.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it's not based on, like, a real world time. It's based on your demo time. So that's something interesting. I don't have much to say because it's just Pokemon.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny to ride a Tauros around and, like, smash into rocks. That was pretty cool. I don't know how to... I don't know. Just ride a Tauros around and just go... just blast through rock piles. That was cool. I've seen a couple of cool new monsters. They had, like a Pokemon Snap mode for a little bit. I'm not sure what the purpose of that was, but it was like Pokemon Snap, where I was taking pictures of Pokemon in the game.
Huh. There's always been those weird mini games in the Pokemon games, though, where it's like, I'm dressing up my Pokemon, but I'm not sure why, though.
Yeah. I was actually, I think, unless I'm crazy, because I might be crazy, but I think I had to actually move my 3DS around to, like, to take a picture of the creature I was looking for.
With the gyroscope?
Yeah, the gyroscope. I think that's what I was doing.
Some Bravely Default stuff.
It was cool. What can I say? I felt immersed in the world of Pokemon for a little bit, taking pictures of them.
Yeah.
They lend you like a Pikachu to play with too, who has like crazy little Hawaiian dances or stuff. I don't know. It's cute. It's cute. The villains showed up. The villains are hilarious as usual. There are some people who are complaining about the villains. Like, they were like, I don't like how goofy they are. And I'm like, do you not?
Yeah, that seems like it's always been that way.
I don't remember a team that wasn't, like, somehow weird or goofy before. They're like, I don't like it. And I'm just like, guys.
Yeah.
This is the same
Everybody
old...
settle down.
It's funny because they're like gangsters, but they're like silly gangsters. Like they gotta do like this silly walk and then like move their hands around like this when they walk. I have no idea. It's hilarious. Oh my gosh. But anyways, I enjoyed it. Game's coming out in a week from now or so. I'm gonna be playing it like crazy. Go Pokemon Sun. Alright. Praise the sun or something. So after I played the Pokemon demo, because after playing World of Final Fantasy and Pokemon, it's just like, well, no, I feel like playing Yokai Watch out of no. I don't understand why I want to play Yokai Watch. It's really weird, but now I suddenly want to play Yokai Watch, and I did. Yokai Watch, like, I know people always say like it's basically Pokemon, but it's like it doesn't feel like Pokemon.
It's a little different. I mean, the battle system is
different.
way different. Capturing the yokai is pretty different.
It's more like Dragon Quest capture, where it's like the monster has to decide to come with you, really.
Yeah, a little bit of SMT in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, you can give them stuff true to try and win them over, but... and it's also different in the sense that, like, I always felt like Pokemon was kind of more like open world with the overarching story of just hitting the gyms, which obviously is going to change with Sun and Moon, but I always felt like that was Pokemon's thing. Like, I didn't feel like there was like an intense story, whereas like when I play Yokai Watch, I feel like I've got a very linear story that I'm following along,
right?
Like a traditional RPG. And so I don't know, I feel like those two just, they don't feel very similar to me. But I played Yokai Watch and I enjoyed it. I don't quite understand how to play Yokai Watch completely. Like, I feel like I feel like I'm doing things right, but then at the same time, it's like I could be doing this horribly wrong. Sometimes it just, does everybody have to hit the save point to make sure that they fill up all their soul gauges or whatever it is, and then just like blast the bosses? Or is that, I don't know.
I don't know that deep in it.
It's just me. And the last thing I played is, and the only reason why I bring it up is because there was a pretty sizable update, is Brave Exvius.
No.
They added PvP to the game, or it's basically PvE. It's so you get to face other real players' teams, but there's an AI controlling their team, and so I mean, it's pretty interesting because I get to see like a lot of people's teams and see what they're running around with. I get to see a lot of whales.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of whales. I've beaten a lot of whales. The only times I've lost was because my game crashed on me. And it's kind of sad that I lose that way, but it's only fair because if someone were to just like reset their app every time they were losing or whatever, just to not lose, that'd be cheap. So obviously, if you crash or disconnect or whatever, connection loss, you're gonna auto forfeits you.
Yeah, that's fair.
The only sad thing, like, I normally wouldn't care if I was just losing because of that, but there is a trophy in the game that you get like 500 free real money currency. 500 real money currency for having 100 consecutive wins.
Oh, wow.
So when I lose my consecutive win streak, it's just kind of like, no, I'll take the loss, but can you just not kill the streak? Okay, fine. I'm like, I disconnected. That's the reason why that bugs me. But it's whatever. Because again, I understand they don't want somebody cheesing the whole system.
Yeah.
They're running a new event right now. This event is actually how events are going to be in the future, and I know a lot of people are really upset about this event because it feels terrible. But there's a reason why it feels terrible. This is the only event that has only 4-star banner units, and for those of you who don't know what that is, basically 3-star is a common pull, 4-star is a rare pull, and then like 5-star is like a super mega rare 1% chance pull.
Those are the ones that are definitely going in your party.
Yeah. So those are. So unfortunately, this banner has 3 4-stars and 1 5-star and absolutely 0 3-stars, which means most people aren't going to get, like if you're free to play, most people aren't going to get these units. And that makes the whole event very hard because you get more rewards based on how many units you have in your party that are from the banner.
Right.
And this is the first of this banner, so it's nobody has had these units prior to this event start. So it feels terrible. Going forward, all the banners and events that will happen, there are already units in the game that people have already collected. There's going to be 3-star pulls, which are really easy to get. It's basically like a 30% chance or something like that. You'll definitely see it with even the most casual of players pulling. Or at the very least, you'll get friends who have these units. It's a lot easier. It's more accessible. So this banner just feels really bad, and this event feels really bad because
just a transition event.
Yeah, it's really bad because it's the new way that they're going to be running events. But I think they handled the particular event pretty poorly.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, I already know because I played the Japanese version that this is the only event that's going to feel and look this bad. So at least the rewards aren't that great.
Yeah.
They looked at the reward list and like, none of this is actually that good. So, didn't really lose much. Whatever.
Yeah.
You can just skip it. Other than that, I don't think I played anything else. So, Boston?
All right, I hear my daughter getting really upset downstairs, so I'm going to blow through these pretty quickly. I'm still playing a lot of Final Fantasy Record Keeper. I feel like I've finally hit my stride. I keep getting enough of the in-game currency to do a lot of pulls on each banner, and I've got a pretty good party set together that I've got my healing, I've got my black magic summons, I have enough damage. I finally feel like I've sort of turned the page on Record Keeper where I have a solid party put together that can do the majority of the events. For anybody that hasn't played Record Keeper, it's usually like every 2 weeks they have a 2-week long event. We're wrapping up a Final Fantasy X one right now, and we're doing a Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2 event right now. Each one of the battles has a difficulty rating on it. They're kind of BS because it's not a level and it's not really anything, but it gives you a general idea of how tough the battles are going to be. And they go from like difficulty of 2 to difficulty of like 180. I can get all the way up reliably to about difficulty 90 at this point. So I'm starting to get into, I guess, what's considered the precipice before the real end game stuff. And I think at this point now I just have to focus on getting more teams leveled up. Because like Mina was talking about during the pre-show and then during Brave Exvius, in Record Keeper, if you're going through like a Final Fantasy 13 event, Final Fantasy 13 characters get a huge stat boost in that event, and so does Final Fantasy 13 weapons and armor. So you sort of want to scoop up as much powerful equipment and party members for all of these events so you can get further and further with characters that you already have that are really strong. I still really recommend Record Keeper. I think I enjoy it more than Brave Exvius, because Brave Exvius seems like it's more focused on your party and the actual individual party members and their stats, where Record Keeper is focused less on the party. Those are still sort of important, but it really cares about upgrading your armor and your weapons and getting all these things they call record materia, which are basically like boons and stat bonuses for your party members. I really like Record Keeper. I've gotten to the point where I'm starting to spend money on it, which sounds really dangerous, but there's a thing you can do when a new event pulls up. They'll release 5 or 6 weapons that you can pull from. The quickest way to do it is basically spend $1 and you can just pull one thing. It has pretty okay chances to get you something good, but you can only do that $1 pull once. So I feel like that's a pretty fair every couple of weeks you spend $1 on a game. I feel like that's pretty fair. So I'm starting to read strategies and hit subreddits and stuff like this, so I feel like I'm starting to get really down the rabbit hole with Record Keeper, but I really like it, and its brand of nostalgia for Final Fantasy is really great. It's really great to see enemies and bosses from stuff like Final Fantasy X or 12 or 13 that are now these tiny pixel versions, but the art that they have on them is really, really, really high quality. So go play Record Keeper. It's really good. Go play Brave Exvius. That's also really good. I heard Mobius is really good too. So you got 3 really good Final Fantasy games to play. And if anyone wants to be friends in Record Keeper, I think that's a thing you can do. Hit me up on Twitter. But the second game I've played, I haven't had a lot of time to play stuff this past month. The Destiny Halloween event, Festival of the Lost, came and went. And it was a real bummer, truth be told.
Yeah.
And I know I'm the guy that has been defending Destiny for the last 2+ years, even though it has been a rough game in a lot of rough spots. The first Festival of the Lost last year was really good because the whole conceit around it was you're just celebrating Halloween, basically. So this one character will give you an empty sack, and if you're running around PvE or PvP with a mask on, whenever you kill enemies, it puts candy in the sack. Once the sack fills up, you go talk to that character, and they give you another mask. And the whole interesting thing about the previous year's version was you get blue quality masks, you get these other materials that you can upgrade them from blue to purple. Once you upgrade those, then you get to keep them after the event. So there's this cool thing where you're working towards collecting this whole thing, and it was really good. This year, unfortunately, they removed all of that. You don't upgrade masks anymore. You don't get them as drops. You don't really get anything interesting for filling up sacks of candy at all. Now all of that has moved to silver, which is the for real money in-game currency, and you need to buy these blind boxes that then has the masks and all this stuff. There's sort of 2 problems. One is that stinks. But they've done that in past events. They've done it for the Year 1 Sparrow Racing League, where you could get Sparrows, the vehicles, through getting those boxes. So it's not bad. And of course, since they're asking for real money, the really cool stuff is in there, like the Ghost, which is your ghost that has a white sheet draped over it, or the Devil Ghost, which he's taped little papier-mâché, a tail, and horns. Those are really great. There's a sparrow, there's some emotes, there's stuff like that. Somebody from the community, Maximus Prime, was kind enough. I helped him out with something. He gave me a $20 gift card for a PSN. I said, all right, I haven't spent it. Let's spend it on these boxes. Let's see how much $20 will get me. Each box is $2. So that'll give me 10 boxes. I feel like I have a pretty good shot at getting...
That's a lot of boxes.
Yeah, it's a lot of boxes. And you get like 4 or 5 things in each box, typically. So I was like, I should be fine. 10 boxes, I should be able to get everything. The thing that they changed this event, unlike SRL, the Sparrow Racing League, is Sparrow Racing League, they had a blind box for Sparrows, but once you got a Sparrow, you couldn't get dupes of it. It said, you'll just get Sparrows you don't have. No. Not so with this. No. I got 10 boxes, and I got a couple of masks I already had from the last year's event, and a Sparrow. And that was it. I didn't get the exclusive 2016 mask. I didn't get the ghosts. I didn't get any emotes. I didn't really get anything because it allowed you to get duplicates. And I get it. From a business standpoint, I get it because they're working on Destiny 2. And there's no more expansions until Destiny 2. But the fact that they already had a system in place that prevented you from getting dupes means the thing that was talking about on TVGP is I'm a stay-at-home dad, so I'm not bringing in any income. If they were to say, all right, you can get everything in this event for $30, I'll spend the $30. That's fine. It's very much like Musum and I talk about Marvel Avengers Academy before the show starts. There's a crate. You can spend X number of dollars and you'll get everything in the crate. Okay, I can probably budget that. But if you're going to say, here's these boxes, you need to spend an unknown amount of money to get the everything that's in there, I'm not going to roll the dice and spend any money.
So this is the problem that I have, and this is not an RPG, but this is the problem I have with Overwatch's box system. It's exactly like that, and I don't like that system at all. I think if you're going to make people roll on random boxes, if they shouldn't have the chance to get the same thing they already possess.
Right.
I think that's terrible, and I don't like that as a business decision because I think it actually deters people from doing it because they think to themselves, I'm probably just going to get the same thing I already own anyways, so why should I do that? And they back away, and I think that's terrible. So if you're going to do these RNG boxes, because they're RNG, they should remove what you've already obtained. That's it. I'm not even complaining that it's an RNG box. I'm complaining about getting a duplicate. I don't think duplicates are fair. I think that's terrible.
And I think this set of Destiny boxes has the same problem that the Overwatch boxes do, where the counterpoint that I hear from some people, although it's not a very vocal one, is in Overwatch, if you get a duplicate skin or spray or whatever, you can basically break those down and it'll give you in-game currency. But in Overwatch, it's not enough for a duplicate, and in Destiny, you break down some of the masks and get the new in-game currency, which is silver dust, which you apply skins to weapons and you do some stuff with armor and stuff like that. But it's not enough to say, well, I spent $2 and I got 2 silver dust, which there's no real equivalency there, but it certainly doesn't feel fair. And again, I get it's a business, but I can't sit there and pump $50 into something to get a cool ghost that I really want. And that is, I'm a collector in Destiny, so I want to get everything that's in there that's possible for me to get. And if that's going to be the case, that makes it a lot less appealing for me to interact with these events at all. And it starts leaving a pretty sour taste in my mouth for a game that I've spent hundreds of dollars on since the release. Again, not to say that I was there day one, you should give me free stuff, but I feel like there's been an expectation from past events that it's a little bit more fair, it's a little bit more balanced. So it's looking at an event like that, it's really hard to defend when people say that Bungie is greedy or Activision is greedy. It's before you could say, well, it's actually not as bad as it sounds. Here's all these caveats. But this one makes it pretty hard. And luckily, Destiny is still the good game it's been, and it's getting better. I was hoping to run the new raid before my daughter came, and I didn't, so that's going to be a long while before I run that one. But, I've largely pulled back from Destiny at this point, probably until Destiny 2 comes out. Or until Sparrow Racing League comes out, because there's no real content coming to Destiny 1 till Destiny 2 comes out. And that's okay. It's sort of like Musum with Warframe. You don't have to play the game every day. It'll be there when you get back. I'll play some Iron Banner every once in a while, play around with some friends, do some strikes, but probably not to the level I was doing before. But that's okay. Destiny will be there whenever I'm ready. But that's all I've been playing this month, so let's take a break.
Ooh.
All right.
Go check out your daughter.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
For those of you in the chat, I don't actually hate Overwatch or Destiny. I hate RNG boxes that give you dupes. I disagree.
Yeah.
Disagree strongly.
Especially if you can only spend real money on them.
That's.
Yeah. Like the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, they had RNG packs, but you got them just from playing. Like if you played it a bunch, you would probably unlock all the classes.
Overwatch has that too, and to defend it a little bit, if you get duplicates, you get a small amount of currency that you can buy things that you want. But I still hate it. I still dislike the idea of people spending real money and getting dupes. I think that you shouldn't get dupes.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. That is the one thing I never really thought of as a benefit to the crates. Because like the Avengers Academy Reddit hates the crates. Like every time a new crate comes up, like there are just dozens of posts of people saying, "Don't buy the crate. We need to show Tiny Go. Screw them." But in reflection, it's like you know exactly how much you're going to have to spend on the crate. Like it's not a mystery. There are 30 things in it. It costs 95 shards. So if I want those things, if I want any of those things, really, I'm going to have to buy them all, kind of thing. But
right. And Adventurers Academy has something up on basically Brave Exvius, where Brave Exvius is pure RNG. You can get the same dupes or whatever, but this is a mobile gacha game. I know exactly what's up. There are people who spend like thousands of dollars to try and get one character, and it's a 1% chance roll. I don't do it, but I'm not a whale, and I'm not going to spend like whale money or whatever to achieve what I get. But at the same time, the game doesn't require you to get these things to be strong, so it's more of a luxury, and it doesn't bother me. So, but
yeah. I don't know. I probably need to start weaning. Damn it, dog. I have a dog who has stitches, and he keeps licking them, so it's a constant thing telling him to stop. But I don't remember what I was saying. All the coffee left my body, like, I think midway through me talking about the games I was playing.
Oh, no.
And it has been difficult to concentrate since. But, man, I really thought I played more RPGs this month. I think I just thought about playing Skyrim a bunch. Because, like, I installed the special edition.
Oh, no!
And then I read, like, oh, guess what? None of the mods work yet.
I played Skyrim, and I also played Starbound. I did play a couple of more things than I thought. Oh, I also played Final Fantasy 14. I guess will be a special you are here thing. I beat the hardest content in the game. Cleared 812 Savage.
Nice.
So, yeah, it took a lot of teamwork. It was really hard, but it was worth it. We did it, so
cool. That's
exciting. Completely forgot to bring that up, but it's whatever. I don't have anything other to add about that. There's not going to be. There won't be any substantial updates. I don't think there will be story updates, but that'll be only for basically people who play the game who will care. And there's nothing huge until the expansion.
Yeah.
Then I'll have to dedicate like a 10-minute. This is all the stuff that happened in the expansion. There's going to be a level increase and new abilities and new classes and oh my gosh, they changed this and that. I don't know.
They're bringing out too many games I want to play right now, so I'm hoping like Warframe and all that does nothing else interesting the rest of the year. Like I'm sure they'll have their holiday events, but like, I mean, two of the games on the list we're about to read, like I want to get one of them I will definitely get. The other I don't know if I can fit in my budget. And like for once I kind of want to play the first person shooter yearlies that came out. Like I kind of want to play Infinite Warfare and I kind of want to play Battlefield 1 for the single player, oddly enough. But
are you going to be getting Final Fantasy 15?
Yeah.
All right.
The Phil what's his name's write up on Polygon a while back kind of brought me back into not canceling my pre-order because I was real close.
I'm out. I'm waiting. I'm gonna wait until I hear from people I trust who aren't getting paid at all. Like you. Like, I need to hear from the person who spent their hard dollars what they feel when they played the game. Was it worth their $60 some dollars?
Did you read that write-up of Phil talking about the first 15 hours that he played?
No, because I don't want spoilers. I just want somebody to tell me yes or no.
Oh, okay.
It's like, it's kind of like I like, if someone were to ask me after February 15th how I feel about Persona 5, my only response will be yes or no. It's gonna be yes, but I'm just gonna say, like, I would refuse. You couldn't hold me to anything to say, hey, could you tell me about this game? No, you got to play it yourself. It's good. Play it. That'll be my response. It's good. Play it.
Gosh, I keep thinking about that March podcast that we're gonna have to do. That's gonna have like Persona in it, and I don't remember if Mass Effect comes out at the beginning or the end of the month, but it's possible that could be in it too. And
I'm sorry, Mass Effect.
I'm also debating on, like, do I take a week off for the Persona 5 release? Like, because realistically, I'm not going to beat it that week. Like, even if I take those days off and play it without sleep, like, I'm not going to be able to finish the game.
The important part is you stay ahead of the spoiler crowd.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's what my goal is because I'm going to have to go media blackout. I don't want anybody saying, oh, did you get this thing where the character does... I'll be like, I hate you for the rest of your life. I hate you.
So we got to beat it before the PUP podcast is what you're telling me.
I will have it done that week. I will have it done. I don't care what amount of sleep I'm working on. I'm going to have to Red Bull this thing. It'll be done, though.
See, I'm excited because, like, it'll be my 10th year at work, and we get, like, an extra week of vacation time.
Oh, yes!
That's exactly where I'm thinking of spending it. But, man, that's going to be... There's too much I want to play that month. Like, because there's that, and I'm really excited about that, what's that action game? I can't think right now. That PS4 exclusive by the one guys with the chick and the robot dinosaurs.
Oh!
Like that game. Like that game comes out like either a week before or a week after Persona 5.
Anything that comes out after Persona 5 is just kind of screwed on my list. It's screwed.
The thing I'm really looking forward to next year is when we all go to Civil War over whether Persona 5 or Red Dead 2 or Mass Effect Andromeda or like all these games that people are going to say this has to be game of the year.
Listen,
yeah. They all have to forfeit the P5, right? Like that's the default.
I will fight because I am sold that it's going to be the greatest RPG that year. If not a game.
Yeah. I don't know how it...
We waited.
I mean, they essentially
7 years.
Literally all they had to do was make a better looking Persona 4 with a new story, right? Like that's
what we had to do.
It sounds like from interviews they're like, no, we want that feeling that you got going from Persona 2 to Persona 3 and the upgrades. We want that feeling. Like
that sounds crazy to me, but do it.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy to me, but do it.
I don't know how they can do that. Like, I don't believe them. I'm sorry, you probably didn't want that much information.
No, it's fine. I haven't been spoiled. I haven't been spoiled on anything. I lied. So when I did the pre-order, there's no way to avoid what I saw on the pre-order. I saw, like, this little, some sort of mascot. I don't know if it's going to be another Teddy or whatever, but there was like a little mascot that had like a little bit of a like half black face looking thing.
The problem is I know exactly what you're talking about, and although I've been on, like, I watched the first trailer thing they released.
Yeah.
And then I've accidentally found out some things just browsing the internet.
No.
So I know what the thing is you're talking about, but like I feel like any commentary I give you, huh?
Just say it's a mascot, right? It's a mascot, right? Some sort. I'm guessing because they gave it a name on the pre-order thing. I don't remember what the name was, but it had a name. I saw it. There's no way to unsee it. I also saw there was like a school book bag, so I already know that we're going to, based on the school book bag, I'm like, this is a high school book bag looking thing, or possibly.
They're always high school.
Wasn't always. Always. Persona 2 Innocent Sin.
Oh, right.
You played
it.
as
Name's a reporter, isn't she?
Maya, yeah. She wasn't.
But that's like a.
No, I refuse. Refuse. They don't have to. They can go to college. Hi. They can go to college. I'm okay with this.
Persona 4, the college years. That's what.
Oh. They're already making it.
Everything okay on your end, Boston?
Oh yeah, just a baby screaming, and then Amazon Fresh delivery just got here, so I'd unbox that.
Oh,
so Amazon Fresh is really great because I don't have to go to the grocery store anymore. They bring it to you. Brought to you by Amazon Fresh. All right, you guys ready to knock out the last part of this episode?
Go for it.
Let me make sure I have everything open. I didn't actually look at this. Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about RPG releases for November 2016. First up, Trillion God of Destruction on the PC, out now. This was on the Vita, if I remember, but I don't know too much about it. I almost want to say it's like a Monster Hunter style game, but I don't know how true that is. Either of you know
first time
anything?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
Never heard of it.
Hot release, Trillion. Sword Art Online Hollow Realization coming out for PS4 and Vita is out now. People love these Sword Art Online games, man. I haven't even come close to playing one.
So I've played the first two, and I will agree with everyone that the translation job was terrible.
Oh.
I found it really hard to get into a game that has like what's the word I'm looking for? Like I think they did like a fixed version on one of them. I can't remember which, but I remember playing that and being like, okay, you fixed the translation, kind of. You made it readable.
Closer.
Yeah, but it's just it's like so. Why would you do this? Just translate it properly.
Yeah.
So that way I can enjoy the game, because I'm not gonna. I will not buy another Sword Art Online game until I know that 100% the translation's perfect from front to back, because it killed my experience. And I know that's a silly thing, but it still killed my experience. I was just like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna slog through something I'm gonna be mad at.
Yeah. Next up, we have Tyranny out on PC, out now. This is Obsidian's new game.
Yeah.
We get to play as the bad guy.
I really want to play this. It's in the same. I'm assuming they evolved the engine, but it's the Pillars of Eternity engine.
Right.
And I thought it was going to be a comedy at first, but then like after reading about it and stuff, it sounds like it's a real big, serious game, and just a lot of weight to your decisions, I guess, in it. But it sounds cool. It's
more Obsidian. That's always good. As we talked about earlier, Pokemon Sun and Moon are out on 3DS on the 18th. Steins Gate Zero comes out on PS Vita and PS4 on the 29th, which I am so incredibly excited for. This is, without spoiling anything, this is a sequel to Steins Gate. It continues the story of one of the bad endings, which should be really interesting. And last but not least, Final Fantasy 15 out on PS4 and Xbox One on the 29th. I still have mine pre-ordered.
Well, me and Mina were talking a minute ago on the break, and the Philip Kohler's write-up of the first 15 hours on Polygon, I think, has cemented my pre-order. But
oh, really? He felt... I haven't had a chance to read it yet. He was pretty positive about it.
He convinced me. my only apprehension is I usually don't agree with Phil, but I have agreed with him before. Like, he loves Persona 5, you know.
Right.
It's just some of the other games he's reviewed, I'm like, that I don't agree with you there. But
Yeah.
I can't remember the specifics, but he hit certain bullet points I wanted to see in terms of whether the game was any good, and he hit those for me.
Yeah, I like Phil Kohler. He has a good head on his shoulders, so if he says he's enjoying something, it's probably pretty good. So interesting. Let's move on to news stories. A new Bravely Default game has been announced, Bravely Default Fairies Effect, and it is out next year on smartphones. So, not sure if this is real. That's about all we have to start off with. Not sure if the poor sales and poor reception of Bravely Second means that this might be the future of it, or if this is going to be some sort of, what was it, Kingdom Hearts X sort of side story thing. But interesting. Square Enix, we've been talking for the last couple of months about a lot of really good Square Enix mobile games. I guess Square Enix and DNA. Curious to see who's going to help them on this, but we'll see if that'll be any good. Hopefully better than Brave the Second, which I never finished. Diablo 3, this train just keeps on rolling, surprisingly. They announced they're going to be taking the Necromancer from Diablo 2 and putting him/her into Diablo 3, which is really great because the Necromancer from Diablo 2 was incredible. I guess it still has skeleton summoning, corpse explosion, that sort of stuff. But I think it looks like that is going to be paid DLC. Knowing Blizzard, it'll just be a couple of bucks, nothing too crazy. But the free DLC that they're coming out with the next patch is called The Darkening of Tristram. They're putting what seems like a significant portion of Diablo 1 into Diablo 3. It will be available in January, throughout January, and will be returning every January after that as sort of a... Diablo 1 came out on December 31st of... 95? Something like that. So they're, as a little homage and as a little anniversary present, that's coming out. It's nice to see them continue to support Diablo 3, because that game is way better than the game that launched. And I can't recommend playing Diablo 3 enough, especially on consoles. It's really good. And last but not least, you asked for it. Square Enix likes money. The Kingdom Hearts remixes are coming to the PS4. It's coming out as a Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 remix. So, before anyone asks, this is just everything Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and the games surrounding it. If you haven't played a Kingdom Hearts game before, this would be the thing to pick up. It has everything in it that you need to play. It looks like they've made it look better. It's smoother. I heard a rumor that it might be 60 frames, but I'm not entirely sure how true that is. I guess we'll see when it releases. This is also separate from Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8, because, of course, it is. That will be coming out next year, January 24th.
So what does 2.8 include?
2.8 is... it's not Birth by Sleep, because that's in 2.5. I'll look it up here in a second.
This is the part that drives me insane about the Kingdom Hearts series.
Yeah, I'm really happy that they're coming out with all of the regular Kingdom Hearts games on one disc on PS4. So you can just say, look, if you're interested in Kingdom Hearts, just do that. 2.8 is Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance in HD. That is playable. Kingdom Hearts X movie, so the mobile version, they're just making a movie out of that. And then Kingdom Hearts 0.2, Birth by Sleep, a Fragmentary Passage, is apparently the thing that is an intro for Kingdom Hearts 3.
You know what? I hope Kingdom Hearts 3 has a rollout that starts out at 2.99A, 2.99B, 2.99C, 2.999 beta.
It's really unfortunate because I really like the Kingdom Hearts series, and these releases are doing nothing but hurting, at the very least, hurting people that want to play Kingdom Hearts. And then this Dream Drop Distance, no one needs to play. That was that 3DS game. That's not going to be great. So, come on, Square. If you haven't played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, both of those are really good. So, and
you realize 2 came out the same time as Persona 4.
Yes. It has been an insane amount of time. I'd still recommend, if anyone hasn't played it, 1, 2, and Birth by Sleep are all really good. Everything else is fine. I don't know if I could recommend racing out to play it, but it's Kingdom Hearts at the end of the day. Alright, let's move on to tweets. What's this one? Arvis Jagomar says, do you guys notice that all three of you spent a lot of time in the most recent episode talking about free-to-play games? Interesting. Yeah, we did it this month too, I think because there are really good free-to-play RPGs out now. Or at least free-to-play Final Fantasy homages. I don't know what that says about them or us, but...
Yeah, they may not be the definitive spend X amount of hours, get everything, and never play the game experiences that I think we'd all probably, or at least I know I would prefer. But, no, it's comfort food.
Yeah, and I think when you look at a lot of mobile games in the past, they haven't been very deep experiences, but you take something like Brave Exvius, and you take a fairly standard RPG, and you speed it up a little bit, and then you add the gacha system on top of it where you're pulling banners, and you have these rarities, and you're leveling, combining units. I think that takes the best part of both sides of the equation. One side is a traditional JRPG, and one is a smartphone game. And I think it turns it into something really cool. I think Brave Exvius... I think Record Keeper is really good. I think Brave Exvius is another step beyond that. I think Mobius is the next step beyond that. And
all three are very different experiences.
Yeah. It makes me excited to see what Square Enix is going to continue to do. I know they're kind of tied to the Final Fantasy name, but it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do overall with their mobile strategy, because they make some pretty cool stuff. So it's all pretty good. Rio H writes in and says, has anyone played the new Final Fantasy 15 demo from the Japanese PlayStation Store? I skipped on it because it's coming out in a couple weeks, and I don't really want to burn myself out on it.
Yeah, I guess I own my PS3. I have a Japanese account, but I haven't really bothered to make one on PS4. And yeah, that's a lot of effort for something that's out in a couple weeks. So
yeah.
Unrelated, but is the Type 0 game the one that had the good Final Fantasy 15 demo, or was which one had the good demo?
Yeah,
okay.
Type 0 HD. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if I actually own that or not, and I've been thinking about just giving the demo a whirl, or I could just alternatively wait for you two to weigh in whether or not you enjoyed it or not. 'Cause
I really enjoyed that one that came with Type 0, but it's my impression that the game has changed so radically since then. I guess it seems that the core of it is still intact, where you're throwing a sword and teleporting, and you have some cool combos, and you're hunting monsters and stuff, but I think from a gameplay perspective, that's probably a pretty good, and it seems like that's a good indication of what that game is going to look like. But I don't know from a storyline and a character perspective whether or not that's indicative at all. So might still be worth a shot, at least to go through the tutorials and stuff for the battles.
It's fine. I can wait for you guys to tell me whether or not.
Back in a month.
Yeah. And then I'll pick it up.
Yeah. And last but not least, Ivan Incubus says, I started replaying Tales of Vesperia. Yeah. And man, that music brought back a lot of memories. Which OST are you most attached to?
That's easy for me. It's a tie. Xenogears and Chrono Trigger.
Man, those are good choices. I would say Final Fantasy Tactics. That's a really... I like that composer's work because they... It sounds weird, but a lot of their stuff sounds very similar, but it gives the game kind of a solid thematic quality to it, and it's very consistent all the way through. I don't know what you have, Mina. I see the wheels turning.
I think I want to say Final Fantasy XIV, the original soundtrack that Nobuo Uematsu did most all of.
Yeah.
Rounded out with his finale piece, Answers. That's probably... That's got to be in somewhere in the top. Like, all of those songs, like, that game may have been terrible by everybody's standards, but I think nobody came out and argued that the music was bad at all. That music was
so
amazing.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people missed out on that soundtrack, too, because it was... One, because it's an MMO, and two, it was received so incredibly poorly upon release that it sort of got overlooked. But yeah, man, that's a great soundtrack.
And it's some of his finest work that he's done.
Yeah, and he hasn't been doing a ton over the last couple of years. So to get a lot of music on one soundtrack like that is a pretty special treat. So,
yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's all of our tweets, and we don't have any emails this month, so that's our episode. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at pickingupthepixels.com. Tweet us at pickingupPixels. There's no "the" in there. Email us, fans at pickingupthepixels. Watch us, Twitch, YouTube, Beam, Hitbox. If there's anywhere you want to listen to us or watch us that we're not on, shoot me a message. I'll try and get us there. Musum, where can we find you?
You can get my music at musum.bandcamp.com, also on Amazon and iTunes and all that. And check out my other podcast, thecarouselpodcast.com.
And Mina, where can we find you?
You can find me on YouTube or Twitch under Mina K.O. Rocket.
And you can find me on my other show, That Video Game Podcast, tvgp.tv, where we talk about all the other games. And I try not to talk about RPGs because my co-hosts glaze over a little bit. Thank you very much for joining me yet again, Musum and Mina.
Pleasure as always.
And our adventure continues next month. All right, I look like a floating head here because I'm wearing a dark shirt.
I was about to say,
Halloween.
You kind of have like a reddish face on Twitch.
Happens. Like,
isn't that weird?
What happens if
like
I turn
me and
my light off?
Musum are fine.
Then I'm just spooky. So weird. It's pretty dark out, so I don't know. That's weird. All right, well, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We will be back in probably about 3 weeks now, trying to get back on our usual schedule. So we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.